Today we're going to start using OnShape and learning how to use it since we no longer have our PCs and access to Inventor. So in the assignment that you go to today, there's going to be a link that's going to bring you to this website. Go to this website and create your OnShape education account. Okay, you'll select whatever you need, click on Create EDU account, and it will either bring you to a window like this or it will bypass you and already sign you in. So I'm going to sign in to show you what my OnShape window looks like. So you'll notice I have Create here, and I have some folders and the files that I last opened here. And we are going to create a folder and create a file that looks like this. So let's go back in time to the beginning of our work in Inventor when we created something that was called the sketch plane cube. And when we created that sketch plane cube, it looks something like this. It was a 2 by 2 by 2 cube, so 2 wide, 2 tall, 2 deep, and on the front, the right, and the top face, there was an extrusion. So in the center of the front face, there's a 1-inch diameter circle that's extruded out a 1/2 inch. On the right side, there's a 1 by 1 inch square that's extruded out a 1/2 inch. And on the top, there is a 1-inch diameter circle that's extruded in. And this file has been attached to your assignment as well to show you that each of these shapes is in the center of the side that it's placed on. So let's go back into OnShape. And I'm going to open up the sketch plane cube that I've already created and zoom in on it. Okay, so you can see it. So this is what you're going to be creating on the front, the right, and the top. Okay, a couple tools that might come in handy if you have a mouse, and I would recommend if you have a mouse, plug it in. It will make your life a lot easier. So I can pan, which means move around the screen by holding down the center mouse button and just dragging it. Okay, if I scroll it, I zoom in and I zoom out. And using the right mouse button, I can free rotate. Okay, I can also rotate by clicking on the cube and going to whatever view I need to go to. To get back to normal, click on the little arrow and go back to isometric. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is create a folder. A folder in OnShape works just like a folder in Google. It's just there to hold things that are alike together. So you're going to click on Create and Folder and create a folder called Practice. I already have one, so I'm not going to do it again. After you create your practice folder, we can go into it and we'll see there's one file. This is my sketch plane cube. You're going to create a file by clicking on Create and Document. Okay, you can call it Sketch Plane Cube or SPC. I'm going to put a 2 on mine since I already have one, and then I'm going to create it. Since we have the free educational OnShape accounts, everything we create is within the public domain, which means if somebody knows how to search for it, they can find it. You would have to pay to create files and keep them private. Okay, so we'll create our new file. And you'll notice we have the XY plane, the XZ plane, and the YZ plane, okay? In OnShape, they're named a little bit more simply. They're named front, top, and right. Okay, front, top, and right over here. So to begin with, we're going to create a 2 by 2 square on the front face. So we're going to create a sketch. I'll click on Sketch, and whenever you're creating a sketch or an extrusion, it's going to ask you what plane you want to attach that to or create that on. So I'm going to select the front plane, and that's selected. I'm going to click on front here, so I'm looking at it straight on, and I'm going to create a rectangle. Okay, so I create my rectangle, and I'm not going to worry about my dimensions yet. I'm going to click. As soon as I click, the rectangle has been created, but you'll notice there's a box around one of the dimensions. That's telling me I can change it. So I'm going to type in a 2 and hit the Enter key. That will bounce me to the other dimension. And since I'm creating a 2 by 2 cube, I'll type in another 2 and hit the Enter key. So now I have a 2 by 2 square, and I'm going to save it. Let's take a look at what this looks like and zoom in a little bit and pan over, because next I'm going to extrude this square. To do that, I go to the Extrude button. It will ask me what I want to extrude. I want to extrude this, and I want to extrude this 2 inches so that I can create my 2 by 2 by 2 cube. In the menu on the left, you'll notice that I have my sketch, if I hold my pointer over it, and my extrusion. Okay, so let's move to the front face. On the front face, I'm going to create another sketch. We'll take a look at it from this direction and zoom in, and I'm going to create a circle. So there's a couple different ways I can create a circle. We'll do the center point circle. And I don't have to even worry about being in the middle because I'm going to use dimensions to ensure it's in the middle. So I'm going to click, drag, click. Okay, so I'm pretty close, but I'm not exactly at 1 inch. So since there's a box around that dimension, I could type in 1 and enter. And now I have a 1 inch diameter circle. The dimension tool is located right here. And notice if I hold my pointer over any of the tools, a tooltip will pop up to show me what that tool does. So I want a dimension from the center of the circle to an edge, and I want that dimension to be, I'll click, 1 inch, because I want it centered. Okay, I also want to dimension from here to here, and I want to make sure that that is 1 inch. Okay, now I have a circle that's centered on that front face of my cube. Okay, let's take a look at it from the isometric view and zoom in to do our extrusion. So I'm going to extrude, and it's going to ask me, what do you want to extrude? I want to extrude this circle, and I want to extrude it a 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to do something very much like what I did for my circle by creating a square on the center of my right face. That square is going to be extruded out a 1/2 inch. And I just want to show you how to do a negative extrusion. So on the top face, I'm going to create a sketch on the top. Let's go to the top. Let's zoom in. And I'm going to create another circle. Okay, I want that circle to be 1 inch diameter. And I want to use the dimension tool to make sure that it is centered this way and this way. Okay, once I've created that sketch, let's look at it from an angle. I want to extrude this in a negative direction. So I'm going to extrude. It's asking me what I want to extrude, this circle. And instead of adding, I'll remove. And I'm going to remove a 1/2 inch. Okay, so your assignment is to create your sketch plane cube with a circle, a square, and a drilled in circle on the top, and take a screen capture of this and attach it to the on-course assignment and turn it in. Oh, I forgot to show you something at the beginning. If you're not currently in inches, come over to the menu and go down to workspace units. Make sure you're in inches, okay, and make sure that you're showing 3 decimal places or 3 places after the decimal point. Okay, should you finish this, I'm going to ask you to go to learn.onshape.com. Okay, and OnShape comes with a whole library of tutorials. If you click on